Did you ever pause to consider that every yes you utter is in fact a no to something else? That yes to another project at work is a no to dinner with your family. That yes to a friend's favor is a no to your own rest. And most frightening of all, every time you say yes just to please someone, you're silently saying no to yourself. Today, we'll explore the hidden cost of always saying yes, and how learning to say no might be the most liberating act of your life. Picture your life as a garden. Each time you say yes to something, you're planting a seed. But if you say yes to everything and everyone, your garden quickly becomes a chaotic jungle where nothing properly flourishes. This is exactly what happens when we become people who cannot refuse. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, warned, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." When we always say yes, we exist in a constant deficit of time, energy, and most critically, identity. We're so busy meeting others' expectations that we lose sight of who we truly are. Think about the past month. How many times did you accept invitations you didn't want, take on responsibilities that weren't yours, or agree with opinions just to avoid conflict? And what did you sacrifice in that process? Philosopher Henry David Thoreau retreated to nature precisely to escape these social pressures. In Walden, he wrote, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. This desperation often arises when we live to satisfy external expectations, not our true aspirations." In ancient China, Confucius taught about the concept of righteousness, not just doing what is right, but doing what is authentically aligned with your values. When we always say yes, we betray this inner righteousness. There's a story about a disciple of Confucius who always agreed with everyone. One day, the master asked, "If everyone jumped off a cliff, would you jump too?" The disciple hesitated, finally understanding that pleasing others is no virtue when it sacrifices your integrity. The emperor philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Do not be distracted by the actions of others." He understood that our tendency to seek external approval diverts us from our own path. Each time we say yes out of fear of disapproval, we're allowing others to define our journey. The cost of always saying yes manifests in surprising ways. First comes physical exhaustion, that chronic fatigue no weekend can cure. Then, the silent resentment that grows each time you feel used or undervalued. Finally, and perhaps most devastating, the erosion of your identity, when you no longer know what you truly want because you're so accustomed to prioritizing others' desires. But why is it so difficult to say no? Psychologically, we fear rejection, conflict, and disapproval. Culturally, we're conditioned to value kindness and availability above all else. And many of us build our self-esteem on being helpful, making each no a small identity crisis. Here's the twist we rarely consider. Saying yes to please others is, paradoxically, a deeply selfish act. Surprised? Think about it. When we agree to something merely to avoid the discomfort of saying no, we're prioritizing our momentary comfort over honesty. We're choosing the comfortable lie over the uncomfortable truth. Marcus Aurelius challenges us with this reflection. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. When we say yes without true intention, we're violating this fundamental principle. And there is something even more disturbing. By always saying yes, we're robbing people of the opportunity to know our true selves. How can they truly love or respect us if we never show who we authentically are? As Thoreau wrote, "It is as hard to see oneself as to look backwards without turning around." When we constantly please others, we lose the ability to see ourselves clearly. Seneca provokes us with this uncomfortable truth. No one is free who is a slave to the body. No one is free who is a slave to pleasure. No one is free who is a slave to others' approval. Each yes, motivated by fear of disapproval, is a small surrender of your freedom. Confucius observed, "He who seeks only to please others will soon find that he pleases no one, not even himself." This is perhaps the greatest irony. In trying to please everyone, we often end up pleasing no one completely, as we become a diluted, inauthentic version of ourselves. What if true altruism isn't saying yes to everything, but being honest enough to say no when necessary? What if true generosity is offering the world your authenticity, not your submission? What if each conscious no is actually a profound yes to your own integrity? So, how do we begin to recalibrate our relationship with yes and no? It's not about becoming selfish or insensitive, but about finding balance and authenticity. Start small. The next time someone asks something of you, give yourself permission to pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this aligned with my values and priorities? As Seneca advised, before you promise something to someone else, promise yourself that it's something you can fulfill. Practice phrases that honor both yourself and the other person. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't take this on right now. Or, this matters to me, but I need to decline. Notice how, with practice, the initial discomfort of saying no diminishes, while self-respect grows. Remember Thoreau's words, "The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it." Each time you say yes, you're trading a portion of your life. Make sure it's worth it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. We cannot control how others will react to our no's, but we can choose our response to the discomfort we feel. Confucius taught that true harmony doesn't come from the absence of disagreement, but from the balance between opposing forces. Your no isn't a rejection of community, but a contribution to a more authentic and sustainable relationship. By learning to say no with grace and conviction, you aren't just setting boundaries. You're creating space for more meaningful yeses. You're freeing up energy for the people and projects that truly matter. You're reclaiming your voice, your agenda, and ultimately your life. And perhaps most surprising, when you begin to say no with authenticity, the people who truly matter won't just respect your decision. They'll respect you more. Because deep down, we all crave authenticity, not people-pleasing. So, the next time you feel that automatic impulse to say yes, just to please, pause and ask yourself, what's the true cost of this yes? And what part of myself am I silencing by not saying no? The journey to balance begins with a simple two-letter word, and that small word has the power to transform not just your relationships, but your relationship with yourself.